Hello, hello everyone. Today, in the previous period, we have discussed about the dynamically induced EMF, how the dynamically induced EMF is produced, and what is the statically induced EMF. We have learned that, and also Fleming's right hand rule, which is nothing but placing all the three fingers perpendicular to each other, and the forefinger represents the magnetic flux. Thumb indicates the direction of rotation of the conductor, and the middle finger gives the direction of the induced current. Mainly this right hand rule is used in generators, and the main objective of this presentation is electromechanical energy conversion. You know that this is the DC generator, a machine which converts one energy to another energy. If the energy conversion is based on the production of dynamically induced EMF, then it is called as DC generator. It is bilateral, that is, a machine which converts electrical to mechanical. Electrical to mechanical is called as motor, whereas a machine which converts mechanical energy to electrical energy is called as generator. DC machine which converts mechanical to electrical is called as DC generator. Now let us know what are the requirements for the production of EMF. What are the requirements? One is conductors, number two is magnetic flux, and there must be a relative motion of conductor. Means the conductor must move in the magnetic field. Then only EMF will be induced. Now let us see the production of dynamically induced EMF. In dynamically induced EMF, either the conductor has to move or the magnetic field has to move. Whereas in statically induced EMF, both the field and the conductor will be stationary. The example, best example for this statically induced EMF is transformers. Conductors move in a stationary magnetic field and EMF is induced in the conductor. Let us see the animation, that is, we can see here there are two magnets. One is North Pole and the other one is South Pole. Always the magnetic flux starts from the North Pole and it ends at South Pole. The magnetic flux lines are invisible. Here we can clearly see the rectangular conductor which is rotating in middle of the magnets. When the conductor rotates in this middle of the magnets, it cuts the magnetic field and an EMF will be induced. The EMF which is induced in these conductors are always alternating current. This alternating current is converted to DC in commutators through commutators. This commutator converts alternating current to direct current. Here the yellow dotted lines are the induced EMF. Now let us see the energy conversion in DC generator. In a DC generator, the input will be always the mechanical energy and the output will be electrical energy. Whereas in a DC motor, the input for the DC motor will be electrical energy and the output will be mechanical energy. In this PPT, we have learned about the principle of electromechanical energy conversion and also energy conversion in DC generator. And we have also seen the energy conversion in DC motor in the diagrams of bilateral conversion. Let us see a small quiz on this topic. DC machine which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Mechanical to electrical is called as generator, DC generator. DC machine which converts DC motor. We know that the motor always converts electrical energy to mechanical energy. That's why the answer is B. A DC machine can be operated as both DC motor and DC generator as well as DC generator and AC motor. Some of the frequently asked questions in this topic are: explain briefly the electromechanical energy conversion in a DC machine. Let us see the next topic. In the previous topic, we have learned about the principle of electromechanical energy conversion and energy conversion in DC generator and also in DC motor, the bilateral diagrams of energy conversion. The main objective of this presentation is the construction and working of simple loop generator. Let us see the construction of simple loop generator. A simple loop generator is nothing but it has only single turn rectangular copper coil which is placed in between poles of the magnet. This is used to study the generation of EMF in DC generator. Here we can see the rectangular, this is the rectangular copper coil, and this is the north pole and south pole. Here this is the magnetic flux lines which are invisible, but just for indication we have shown here. This is the commutator segments, and these are the brushes. In a simple loop generator, let us see how an EMF is generated. When the rectangular coil is in vertical position, that is when theta is equal to 0 degrees, the EMF induced will be 0 since there is no cutting of flux. When it rotates to horizontally, then this rectangular coil is exactly in perpendicular to the magnetic flux lines. So a maximum flux will be cutting. Hence the EMF induced will be maximum, which is shown at point B. Here the EMF is, here the terminal voltage, the voltage which is generated is maximum at 90 degrees. Let us see in the diagram, see when the rectangular coil is further rotated, here there will be no cutting of flux. Again the flux, the terminal voltage becomes 0. On further rotating this rectangular coil, these conductors will be in exactly perpendicular to the magnetic flux. Hence there will be a maximum cutting of the flux, and the voltage induced will be maximum, which is at 270 degrees, and it is in exactly in a reverse direction. So we have shown the terminal voltage at 270 degrees as minus. On further rotating, the flux, the conductor which cuts the flux is 0. So the terminal voltage again becomes 0. Already I have explained all this working of simple loop generator in the previous topic. Let us read out this. Consider a single turn rectangular copper coil is rotating in magnetic field. The coil occupies different angular position during its rotation. All the five diagrams I have explained in the last back PPT, previous slide. So I'm skipping this one. This is the simple loop generator. Here the at theta is equal to 0 degrees. The rectangular coil is at 0 degrees. So there will be no EMF induced. When it rotates, it cuts the magnetic flux. Maximum flux is cut by the conductor. So a maximum voltage is induced. On further rotation, that is when theta is equal to 180 degrees, there will be no cutting of flux. Hence the voltage again becomes 0, means the voltage has reduced from maximum to 0. On further rotation from theta is equal to 180 degrees to theta is equal to 270 degrees, the EMF will be maximum, but it will be induced in the negative direction. So in this voltage waveform, we are showing in negative, showing as negative voltage. On further rotation, when theta is equal to 272, theta is equal to 360 degrees, again the negative induced EMF, which is at maximum point, gets reduced to 0. In this way, from 0 to 360, the voltage is induced as a full wave form, that is from 0 to 360 degrees. We can see the animation of simple loop generator. Here the conductor is rotating and it is cutting the magnetic flux. As the magnetic flux is cut by the conductor, an EMF will be induced. The induced EMF is always in alternating in nature. This alternating current will be converted to direct current at the place of commutators. Okay, summary. In this, we have discussed about the construction of simple loop generator and the working principle of simple loop generator. Let us see a small quiz on this topic. It is the first question is the maximum EMF is induced in the coil when the coil is rotated through an angle of number A is 90 degrees, B 100, C 110, and the answer is 90 degrees. The current, second question, the current which we obtain from simple loop generator reverses its direction for every half revolution. Third question is the EMF induced in the coil of simple loop generator is AC. I have said already in the previous slide. The EMF induced in the rectangular coil will be AC and the output after commutator, the output will be DC. This commutator converts AC to DC current. And the frequently asked questions in this topic are, this is the most important question. Explain the construction and working of simple loop generator. Let us see the next topic. Yeah. Now, in the previous class, we have learned about construction and working of simple loop generator. And the main objective of this PPT is to understand the principle of working of DC generator. Here in this diagram, we can clearly see the magnet, two magnets, that is a horseshoe magnet with two poles. One is north pole and the other is south pole. The field lines starts from North Pole, and ends at South Pole. And we can also see a rectangular coils in middle of the magnets. When this coil gets rotated, when this coil gets rotated, this coil starts cutting the magnetic flux lines. When the conductor cuts the magnetic flux, an EMF will be induced. This is nothing but the Faraday's laws. Let us see the principle of working of DC generator. Based on the Faraday's law says that whenever a conductor cuts the magnetic flux, an EMF is induced. This EMF is nothing but dynamically induced EMF. Now, in order to know how much EMF is induced, we know the famous equation E is equal to minus N into d phi by dt. Nothing, that is nothing but in generator the rate of change of flux linkage is due to rotation of the conductor. That means EMF induced is a dynamically induced EMF. Now let us see the working of DC generator. Here we can see the coil which is placed in between the two poles, that is North Pole and South Pole. When this coil is made to rotate in clockwise direction, then these conductors cuts the magnetic flux, and this current will be alternating in nature. The device which converts AC into DC is the commutator. You can see the commutator here. This is the commutator, and nothing but split rings or commutator. This EMF causes the current to flow in the external circuit only when the circuit is closed one. We know that the current flows only in the closed circuit. From this slide, we have learned about the principle of working of DC generator. Let us see a small quiz on this PPT. The transfer of electrical energy from one circuit to another without the aid of electrical connection is called as induction. This is the most important bit. The transfer of electric energy from one circuit to another without any electrical connection is called as induction. If there is an electrical connection, then it is called as conduction. No electrical connection is said as induction. If there is an electrical connection, then it is called as conduction. And the second question is electromagnetic induction occurs whenever there is a relative motion between the conductor and magnetic field. This is the basic one. There should be always a relative motion between conductor and magnetic field. If there is no relative motion, then there will be no induced EMF. And the frequently asked questions in this topic is the working principle of DC generators. The main objective of this PPT is various DC generator parts and their functions. In completing this, we will learn about DC generator parts. In the previous PPTs, we have already discussed about the methods of dynamically induced EMF and Fleming's right hand rule and electromechanical energy conversion and working of a simple loop generator, and also principle of working of DC generator. Now here we can see the various parts of DC generator. This is the hook. This hook is a hook, or it is also called as eye bolt. Eye bolt. EYEBOLT. Eye bolt. And this eye bolt is used for transporting the machine from one place to another place. That is nothing but for easy transportation. And this is yoke. Yoke is the outer periphery of the various parts in DC generator. It is nothing but it is the mechanical protection. It provides mechanical protection for various equipment inside the generator. And various poles, that is these all poles are also placed on the yoke. And it also, this yoke also provides a low reluctance path to the magnetic flux. And this is the base for comfortable placing of DC generator. And this is the pole. We can see all the four poles here: north pole, south pole, north pole, and south pole. Flux always starts from north pole and ends at south pole. And the dots which we are seeing here are field winding. Mainly this field winding is provided in order to to provide the magnetic flux. Here in large DC generators, we always use artificial magnets. That is nothing but a coil is wound on the magnetic poles. And we can see the armature which is at the middle of the poles. and this is the commutator. This commutator mainly converts the alternating current which is generated in armature to direct current. This is the magnetic flux lines. Magnetic flux lines will be like this, which is shown as dotted lines. See, now the armature is rotating. When the armature is rotating, the conductors placed in the armature, these are the conductors which are placed in the armature, starts rotating. While rotating these armature conductors, these conductors cuts the magnetic flux and an EMF will be induced. These are the brushes which are connected to the commutator. These brushes collects the current which is produced in the armature through the commutator, and the current flows only when it is a closed circuit. You can see the diagram and various parts which we have already discussed. Once again, let us see the important parts of DC generator. The various parts of DC generators are yoke, pole core and pole shoe, field coils, armature core, armature winding, commutator, brushes and brush holders, bearings. First, let us see each part one by one. I will be explaining each part by showing the PPT. The first part is yoke. We can see the yoke in this PPT. I have already explained this yoke in the previous PPTs, but once again I want to uh, speak about this yoke. Yoke is nothing but yoke is the outermost cylindrical frame. This yoke is made of cast iron and cast steel. This yoke provides a low reluctance path to the magnetic flux and acts as a return path, and this yoke provides mechanical protection to the entire machine. This is the yoke for small machine. The next part is pole core and pole shoe. This pole core and pole shoe are made up of silicon steel laminations. All these laminations are riveted together to form a pole core. Pole shoe supports the field coils, and this pole shoe, here we can see the pole shoe. This is the pole shoe. This pole shoe spreads the magnetic flux in the air gap, and it supports the field winding. The field winding is wound on this pole core. In this diagram, we can see the pole shoe. Practically, we can see the pole shoe. And now let us see about the field coils. These field coils are mainly made up of enamel coated copper or aluminum wire. Mainly we use copper with enamel coating. These field coils are placed on pole core, and these field coils produces the magnetic flux when it is excited. You can see the various diagrams of field coils which are placed in the yoke. The next one is armature core. This armature core is made of silicon steel laminations of thickness 0.5 mm. Mainly it is made of silicon steel in order to reduce the hysteresis losses. In order to reduce the losses and decrease the resistance, it's made of silicon steel laminations. This armature core is cylindrical in shape, and slots are provided on the outer periphery. These are the slots provided on the outer periphery of the armature core. And the armature conductors are placed on these slots. And this armature core also provides a low reluctance path to the armature core. Here we can see the diagram of armature. Armature looks like this. This is the commutator, this is the rotor shaft, this is the armature end connections, and this is the lamination. Each lamination of 0.5 mm. This is the slot, and these are called as teeth, and this is the keyhole. In order to keep all the laminations as a single bunch, this key is used. And these are the air holes. These air holes are used to dissipate the heat produced while rotation. And this is the hole for placing the shaft. And the next one is the armature winding. This armature winding is made of copper wire. They are formally wound in the form of rectangular coils. Mainly they are placed in the slots. They are placed in the slots of the armature. It provides armature flux due to which EMF is induced. You can see the armature winding in the first diagram. This is the armature winding in the first diagram, and this is the total armature windings placed in various slots. We can see the slots also here. In these slots, armature winding is placed, and this is the winding wire, enamel coated copper wire. And the next part is the commutator. This commutator is cylindrical in shape, and it is made of high conductivity hard drawn copper. Mainly this commutator is used to collect the current from the armature conductors, and this commutator also converts the current which is generated, that is AC alternating in nature, to DC, that is direct current. We can see the various diagrams of commutators. And the next one is brushes and brush holders. Mainly these brushes are used to collect the current from the commutators. These are made of high grade carbon, and these brushes collects the current from the commutator and supply it to the external load circuit. Here we can see the commutator. This one is the commutator, and this is the shaft, and these are the brushes. Black color. This black color one represents the high grade carbon brushes, and these are the brush holders. These brushes collects the current from the commutators. Here we can see clearly the commutator, brush holders, and brushes. This type of machine is at GPT Warangal, Government Polytechnic Warangal. We can see this machine in Warangal. You can see the various types of brushes and brush holders. These brushes are mainly made of high grade carbon. This is the important reset bit. Now the next part is the bearings. Mainly the function of the bearing is to reduce the friction between the rotating and stationary part. Mainly to reduce the friction between rotating and stationary part of the machine. Mainly there are mainly we use here in electrical machines, we use mainly two types of bearings. One is bush bearing. The below diagram shows the bush bearings, and the other one is ball bearings and roller bearings. Here we can see the various parts of a DC generators. Here the first one indicates the ball bearing. Number one, part one indicates the ball bearing. Number two indicates here the number two. It's an eye bolt which is used to for transportation of this machine. Number three is another ball bearing. And the four is the outer flange. This shaft will be sitting on this flange, and this also acts as an outer surface protection. Protection for the there will be a small turbine, and it acts as as protection. And number five is ventilation turbine. Mainly it is used for ventilation. And the sixth one is this is the armature. We already discussed about this. The EMF will be induced in this armature. And the seventh one is collector, which is nothing but is a commutator. It collects the current. And eighth is the stator. This stator consists of poles, nothing but pole shoe and pole core in the field winding. And the other ninth part, that is this one here, indicates the brushes and brush holders. The tenth part here is collector support flange. Nothing but is a support to flange. And this 11th one is a cover. Cover to protect all this. This is the sectional view of direct current machine. In this PPT, we have learned about the function of each part of the DC generator, various parts. And let us see a small quiz. Armature core is made of. What's the answer? Silicon, steel, laminations. Which part of the generator converts AC into DC wave? And the answer is commutator. That is C. Option C. And some of the frequently asked questions in this topic are: what are the important parts of DC generators? Right? We can here it may be a short question or a long question. In short question, they may ask write any some parts or different types of bearings, function of commutator, okay, like that. What are the important parts of DC generator? Write about armature core, explain commutator. Again, there will be certain questions. From this, today we'll be stopping this.